back at Mareen, the Pyramid Palace, the visionary falls into a somewhat of a deep trance, like that of a dream, and it comes to him most unexpected. And it wasn't something that he had planned on, but it was as if he was actually floating over another world he's never seen before. It's dark blue and appears to be smaller than that of the world that they're on, and with many clouds. And it tells him somebody's coming from this world to theirs. And so in this scene, it shows his vision of floating above the earth, of ones that are known of this planet as humans. The question is, does this mean that a prophecy is about to be revealed to him of all humans, or one human that is to come from this world to theirs? This is where his vision begins. It then shows something of a dark, sinister force approaching this smaller blue world, something that is going to eventually lead to an event. In this dark blue star's fate, many will perish. About, or at least half the planet will be laid waste by something that comes every 3,500 years and will to lose their life because they have nowhere to go to ground and there is not many places for them to go. So in this vision, he will see a catastrophic event get a fragile dark blue world lead up to the next all and many deaths that will reduce what all these visions mean. In this scene that the visionary has, there is one that he can't hear his voice but sees him speaking. He is standing outside of a structure opening that leads underground, and the strange looking human, though he wears glasses, is frantically directing others to head to this opening underground as if he's trying to save these others and what could be human civilians to take shelter, and seems to be acting like that of a leader, for this particular location. So in the scene, while he is speaking, no one can actually hear his voice, as if it was a silent type vision he's having. And as he continues seeing this vision, a great shadow starts to cast, somewhat rounded, over the shelter. And it's like suddenly shade blocking the sun. Similar to that, like, of a great veil coming. But the veil is of much doom, and great will be the loss of lives of these humans on this small dark blue world. And though we can't understand what is being said, because we can't hear the words that are being said as he's speaking to whomever it is that he's speaking to, because as if he's standing in front of him, he then rushes off, looking back as if he feels that maybe he sees a visionary seeing him, but shakes his head and finally goes into these opening, and the doors of this opening finally closes and seals shut. This is the musical scene of the preparations that this particular human, which now gives the visionary interest, could he be the one, goes into.
T minus 5 minutes. T minus 4 minutes. T minus 3 minutes. T minus 2 minutes. T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0.
In the next scene, his vision takes him to something even greater, that even he feels much sorrow for what is about to befall those that are so far, far away in another galaxy. For it is something that is smaller than this moon that they have that orbits this dark blue star, and will slam into the earth, burn the whole earth up, vaporizing all oceans, seas, lakes, rivers. Not one living thing will live on the earth, and the whole world will burn up as if hell had landed on the planet of this humans. But while half the planet of people are vaporized, not one kingdom left standing. Many have, for the other half of the 8.5 billion, will find shelter underground. And this part of the scene then becomes the nightmare of the humans that he sees of the small, dark blue world.
Citizens of the world, I come before you to bring you news that will be very hard to comprehend. This time, they were right.
T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
In the next part of the scene, as if the visionary's in this strange human type structure underground, he sees a strange device, like a picture, but in motion. And he sees numbers going backwards. Red lights flash in different areas of the structure, and the bright normal lighting goes all of a sudden red. Though again, he sees this human for some reason that he keeps focusing on, giving instructions and taking orders from one who is a higher authority than him, and passing these orders to others, getting those that he has saved into secure areas. And the vision suddenly shakes as if a great force has shooken them. And then, of course, it's still again. And the strange human looks towards his direction as if, again, the visionary is not certain, but can this one see him, watching him? He sees the human saying something that could be something like, "Are you there?" And the strange human gives a big smile and says something that he can only read because, again, he can't hear the words that are being said, but would be lip synced with a smile. "Peace be with you." He hangs on to dear life as this vision suddenly shakes and everything goes dark. The scene then changes, and as he sees the countdown numbers, which is the only thing showing in the darkness, goes 0. Great is the darkness that envelopes those that he has saved and himself, and thus becomes the scene of a change where, as the impact has finally completed its cycle, lights will come back on normal, but great is some of the destruction within the shelter, and it shows in a vast ocean of this small dark blue world a hole forming in the ocean with much debris, living structures, humans may call them houses, cars, which are their transported motorized chariots, as Daenerys' world would probably see them, and much timber floating out in this great ocean. And the whole forming starts to spin in a circle and get deeper and deeper, and suddenly an explosion of light of many colors explodes upward, throwing debris all over around it, and thus becomes what could be a vortex or opening, but is unknown. It is a place of mystery and great power that the humans have known for quite some time, and it is only in this one area that this funnel is forming. It becomes much like a Stargate of legend of his known world, and thus becomes the scene for the opening of a vortex that the strange human by the catastrophic event will unfortunately get pulled in as he tries to save others who are trying to flee to higher ground after many rains come to refill the seas and the oceans and the rivers and the streams. With much sadness was this vision of the great loss of the people of this world. Then the scene takes a twist. And out of all the humans, the scene focuses on a group wearing all identical uniforms, but like emblems on their sleeves, some with more stripes, some with less, some with gold and silver, various emblems like that of higher ranking officials, like those of the knights that would be of their known kingdoms. And one in particular is a high ranking one. He's trying to save as many as he can of his kind, but something treacherously happens. That debris falling from the air of something exploding around much light, coming out of the middle of their ocean, with like electrical thunderbolts coming out of the whole of the ocean, causing things to explode, knocks him out of whatever the vessel he was traveling in. Others try to save him, but it's too late, so they take off with those that were saved, and he is sucked into, with much force, into a great funnel of water and many colors of light. in his vision, what it showed is that as he got sucked into this big funnel of water with many colors shooting out of it, unconscious, a type of another bright flashing light in deep space was flashing. And as the screenshot looked like as if it were looking in the rear view mirror or to the rear of your travel in this deep space, that a bright shaft of light is shooting from the place and position of Earth while it is barely refilling with seas all the way through, leaving the Milky Way galaxy. And now it is heading straight out to another galaxy, one that becomes known to the visionary as the galaxy for which their world is in. This then shows where it will come in and touch to the many seas, especially in a particular location, quite a ways out from that which would be Slaver's Bay. This then concludes the visions he has thus far, and he quickly writes everything down from the visions that he saw at the first part all the way to what last he saw of the galaxy, which he doesn't know is the Milky Way, and that the shaft of light continued on towards the world that he and Daenerys and everybody else of the Seven Kingdoms lives in. He feels that this might be something he might want to report to Queen Daenerys after having received a message from a messenger that everyone, not just him, needs to prepare for the return of the Queen, and that nothing is to be mentioned about the great loss that occurred. So he will wait for the right time to present his vision to her. In the meantime, he continues writing all that he has seen, and if he gets another vision, his too shall be documented in the Palace Visionary records.